That XRP liquidity sweep back below $2 that we warned about last week? Yep, that played out. And so we're going to talk about what we got right, what we got wrong in that analysis, and what to watch out for as the market will open back up later today. It's a holiday, MLK Day, so we don't have the full stock market open or even the futures open for the stock market. So crypto took a beating yesterday as we got the reaction to the latest Trump tariffs. And then as we titled today's update, we're going to talk about, does XRP have a role in tokenizing the stock market? Let's get right on into the update. If you appreciate our content, please help us out by liking these videos, sharing them out far and wide, and all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. Now we're taking a look, 100 billion wiped out from the crypto market cap in the past 12 hours. This is from yesterday, and we saw a massive amount of liquidations taking place, over 875 million in the past 24 hours. 786 million going long, 89 million going short. A lot of whipsaw action here lately in the crypto markets, wiping out the shorts, wiping out the longs. A lot of people getting wiped out using that leverage, and so you got to stay safe with it. And so what happened here is that we were anticipating the market to rally up a little bit further than it did last week. The Supreme Court delayed the ruling on the tariffs. And then on Friday, President Trump announced new tariffs on certain countries in the EU over the Greenland matter. And so yesterday, the stock futures that did open up were only a select few that trade at the CME. So I went to Grok and I asked, just to clarify, the cash stock markets at the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are completely closed today, and the futures did not open up yesterday. No trading at all. But for stock futures like the S&P 500 E-mini, NASDAQ 100, Dow futures on the CME GlobeX, they were opened up. So there was a select few futures markets that did open up in crypto. And that's why crypto took the brunt and the beating that it did yesterday. And on the weekend, there's always low liquidity and low volume. So it's very easy for the market makers to push us down or push us up violently. And that's exactly what happened, right? XRP back down to $1.85, Bitcoin back down to 92,000. And we'll take a look at those charts here in one moment. But speaking of these markets being closed and open up, that's going to be a thing of the past. We have the New York Stock Exchange announcing today that it is proud to announce their development of a platform for trading and on-chain settlement of tokenized securities. Now, what we're looking at here, this new digital platform will enable tokenized trading experiences, including 24/7 operations, instant settlement, orders sized in dollar amounts, and stablecoin-based funding. Its design combines the New York Stock Exchange cutting-edge pillar matching engine with blockchain-based post-trade systems, even fractionalized ownership of these stocks as well. Now, if you go read the press release, this is the big thing that I pulled and I tweeted out this morning. The quote is, including the capability to support multiple chains for settlement and custody. Who will be the winners? And so as I titled today's update, right, stock market on XRP with the question mark, it's because I'm posing the question, will XRP be able to play a role in tokenizing stocks? If you look at the XRP ledger right now, IOUs is what they were called, or issued assets, tokens on the XRP ledger. They're all essentially derivatives of some other product, whether it be a derivative of a fuzzy wuzzy meme coin, whether it be a derivative of tokenized gold or silver. We do have some of that. I'm looking for more issuers, more legitimate and reputable issuers to show up on the ledger. And that was the video that I had shared last week talking about XRP DEX warning, is I was warning that we needed to pass some amendments here, add a little bit more programmability, permission environments, so that we could get more legitimate and reputable issuers onto the XRP ledger. And this would include stocks being put on the XRP ledger. We already are set up. We got our DEX. You can issue assets on here, but we need just a few more a few more functions and a little bit more programmability brought to the ledger to complete that. Now, a lot of people push back at me and they said, well, you don't think that Ripple hasn't thought of this? What do you know that Ripple doesn't? You're just some YouTuber. And I pointed out to some of those people that commented that yes, Ripple has been publicly talking about this. But remember, this isn't Ripple's ledger. They only run one validator on our UNL list that determines the future of the XRP ledger. We need 80% consensus to vote in these amendments and to move the ledger forward. And so just because Ripple's speaking out publicly about it doesn't mean that we're going to get these amendments, right? It is Ripple and the rest of the validators on the XRP ledger. It's the XRP community that has to have these conversations, that has to have this testing done to bring these functions and capabilities to the XRP ledger. So yes, Ripple's already thought of this. Yes, Ripple's already allocated a lot of resources and development teams to these amendments, but we still got to speak out to get it across the finish line. And that's why I made that video. And we're talking right here about privacy. We have Ripple X putting out a little video talking about zero knowledge proofs will drive breakthroughs in privacy and compute scalability. So this is episode 9 of the on-chain economy put out here by Ripple. And Vet, one of our validators on the XRP ledger, he retweets and he says, this gal right here, Anshul Malhotra, sorry if I mispronounced it, is one of the coolest people you will find in the community. She co-authored the XRP AMM and other features. Now she is on zero knowledge proof, and this is what enables for us. This is what it would enable for us. Trust minimized bridging for interoperability, compliant privacy with selective disclosure to authorities and third parties, transactional scalability, computation and transactions can be done on XRPL layer 2s, and then the main chain is used as the settlement layer. This is the path to mass adoption, and you just need to be paying attention. And this is why I put out my DEX warning, because I want our community to be paying attention to this. A lot of people just assume, oh, Ripple has all of this done. We're going to be the ledger to tokenize everything. We're the one coin to rule them all. This is set in stone and done. XRP is going to $1,000. Wrong. I mean, part of that's true. Ripple is putting a lot of money, a lot of teams and development resources into this. And they are spearheading these initiatives. But the XRP ledger, the validators there, right? All of them together have to come to make an 80% consensus. We got to get enough testing done to make sure that we don't break the ledger. And so it's very important. And for me, I want to be somebody to inspire more conversation. One thing that I've been critical of for our validators is not enough conversation is taking place. Now, we've had, all these, new amendments coming forward, a lot that are being considered. And the ones that I'd highlighted were permission domains and permission DEX. This would allow a permission environment for a market like stocks to come onto the XRP ledger with zero knowledge proofs, right? You have additional privacy, selective disclosures, and even working on additional throughput with layer 2s, then the settlement layer taking place on the layer 1 XRP ledger. So these are the amendments. This is the work that needs to be done to finalize our ledger to be ready to bring on portions of the stock market to our ledger. But the New York Stock Exchange, in their press release, as I noted here, including the capabilities to support multiple chains for settlement and custody. And this is why I say that it's not set in stone. Anybody saying that 100% of derivatives are coming to the XRP ledger, wrong. 100% of the stock market to the XRP ledger, wrong. XRP is going to be the one chain to rule it all and everything's going to come to the XRP ledger, wrong. That never was going to be the case. And it doesn't need to be the case for us to see significant price appreciation on XRP. But we need to have an honest conversation about where the XRP ledger is at and where we need to go to get that piece of the pie that we want. We want the biggest piece of that pie. We want all the money. But for us to even get a portion of the money, we got to have these conversations and we got to see this development taking place. Now, one thing that I'm super excited about here is Brad Garlinghouse is going to be featured on the All In podcast, going to be recorded at Davos, the World Economic Forum, USA House. We have a little 30-minute podcast here with Brad Garlinghouse. Absolutely love to see it. That's going to bring a lot of eyeballs there to Ripple. Now, continuing on, the reason why I stay bullish here for 2026, for many reasons, Clarity Act passing, but we're also talking about the easing up of liquidity conditions. Fed's going to lower rates, and we're also going to get QE eventually. But we're watching right now the precursor to QE, which is liquidity and treasury management. Fed to deploy $55.3 billion from tomorrow through February 12th via bond reinvestments and reserve purchases. So we are already seeing the precursor to QE. Last time we saw this in 2019, it was the lead up to the big one happening, and that catalyst allowed them to go to full-blown QE, and that's when the money printers went burr like never before, and we went to all-time highs in our crypto market, in our stock market, and even for precious metals as well too. So we have precious metals and stocks already at all-time high. Crypto needs to play catch up, and it's a matter of the liquidity cycle opening back up, the business cycle turning again. And we got that last week. I noted it if you caught my update where I said bullish signals, and people don't understand the difference between a short-term time frame analysis and a high time frame, longer duration analysis. When I put out the video last week saying bullish signals, that was on the high time frame for 2026 because we just got very big, massive bullish prints on the Empire State Manufacturing Survey, which in December was negative 3.7. The expectations for January was 1, and we got a 7.7 print, smashing expectations. The Philly Fed Manufacturing Survey came back. In December, it was negative 8.8. The expectation was negative 1.4. Blew out expectations coming in at 12.6. And these are typically leading indicators of the ISM PMI, which is that business, that purchasing managers index for the manufacturers that we watch so closely, and that correlation with crypto has been so tight. So this is liquidity opening back up, business cycle opening back up. Those were the bullish indicators, the leading indicators of what comes next. This is why we're taking advantage of these liquidity sweeps. When the market makers push this back down, we have our orders sitting, waiting, and we're just scooping up our fundamental positions that have real utility like XRP. So as we noted last week, what did we get wrong? We only went up to 220. I thought we were going to go up to 227, this fib level right here, or potentially set a double top at 241. Let me zoom in on this chart here, give you a little bit of a closer look. Okay, so what happened is on Wednesday, we were set to get the Supreme Court ruling on tariffs. We did not get it. But in anticipation of that, we had got this rally to 220. And my expectation is that the Supreme Court is going to rule them legal, valid, and constitutional. And that is going to be a catalyst to drive these markets higher because it'll, provide certainty, right? We don't want them to rule against them. It's going to bring a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unwinding of those tariffs, and that's going to bring the markets back down. And so the market rallied back up to 220, but then it dropped back off after the Supreme Court delayed the ruling on tariffs once again. Then on Friday, January 17th, that I guess was Saturday, I think it was, that's when President Trump announced new tariffs were going to be launched against countries that were speaking out and standing in the way of us taking over Greenland. Okay. So then yesterday, as the market opened back up, only a select amount of futures were opened back up at the CME, and then it was crypto that got to react to the new Trump tariffs. And so we'll see the full market reaction to the Trump tariffs that just got announced later today when the futures open up in anticipation of the full stock market opening tomorrow, Tuesday, right? Today's MLK, markets are closed down for stocks. So this is when this happens, when we get this big negative announcement, and then it happens over the weekend and a long weekend at that, this is when you see the market makers just come smack us up. And they brought XRP back down to $1.85, and they brought Bitcoin back down to about 92,000. Now the market bouncing here today, 93.2 for Bitcoin. XRP did pop back up to 203, but we'll get the full market reaction later today when the futures open up, okay? But I wanted to show you this real quick on the net flow chart. Only negative 9.63 for the net flow on XRP yesterday. So out of all the money coming in and out of XRP, we only had a net flow of negative 9 million for XRP. The reason why I show you that is to show you how little money it actually took to push XRP back down. It wasn't even that much. On the weekends, when the volumes are low, it is so easy for the market makers to pull out the rug or to pump the market back up. And that's exactly what we saw happen yesterday. So the liquidity sweep that I'd warned about last week, it has came through and played out. This is why I want to keep you guys up to date. So if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're going to have updates coming all week long to keep you tapped in on these markets. And if you're looking for a platform to purchase cryptocurrencies, precious metals in your IRA, or if you have a retirement account that you want to get access to crypto and precious metals, you can roll over a 401k or other retirement account to an IRA with our sponsor, iTrust Capital. And when you use my link down below, you can get a $100 funding bonus. They also do have the premium custody account. I just had someone last week tell me that they got hacked, or not hacked, they fell for an impersonation scam, losing 6 figures in XRP once again. Absolutely sickens me. And so this premium custody account with the closed loop system that iTrust Capital has rolled out, a great solution for new people or people that just want to make sure that you do not lose that bag of XRP or other crypto that you are, looking to stack up for your future. So secure it today. iTrust Capital has you covered. Use my link for the $100 funding bonus, and we will see you guys in the next one. We'll be here all week providing great updates. Thank you, and God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.